Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now this video is not about quadratic equation. It's mainly the discriminant and surd that you have learned from quadratic equation. Right, now here on the left is a quadratic graph and on the right is also a quadratic graph. Because why? Both of this graph is actually governed by this equation of y equals to ax squared plus bx plus c, right? Where a, b, c, they are actually constant number, right? So whether the graph is a U graph or N graph depends on the a value. So if it were to be a U graph like this, then the a should be more than 0, meaning it points towards the positive y direction. Whereas if it points downwards, meaning to the negative y position, then therefore a is less than 0. What is discriminant? Discriminant is actually the surd value. This discriminant is very useful, especially you need it for graph sketching for quadratic, right? Now say for example for this case, for any graph, let's say I can use the left one or the right one, but let's use the left one, a more than 0 condition. It will have two value of x. I will name this as x1 and x2, right? The same goes with this, x1, x2. Now I'm not going to use this right hand side curve, so I'm going to put it aside, right? So probably I'll place it to the right hand side, move it back to here, right? Now the left hand side, this graph. Now if this graph here curve like this, they are going to have two roots. They say two roots, have two values of x when the y is 0, y is 0, y is 0. Okay. Now it's also possible that this graph will have only one value. It touches only the x-axis once. How about it touches only at a point, maybe here, 0, 0. Okay. It's also possible that look like this. It has got only 1 point. Okay, touching only 1 point. So this is only one x value, 1. Where x1 is color-coded, x1 is also x2, and one value. Or it's also possible that this graph does not touch the x-axis at all, like this, right? So there are three possibilities. We have two x value, one x value, or it does not have x value. When y is 0, there's no x value. Okay, there are three conditions. So how can you prove it using quadratic equation? Let's say, for example, whenever this graph touches x-axis, meaning y is 0. So if I were to rewrite this equation at x-intercept, y is 0, that's for sure. So when y is 0, so therefore my equation of ax squared plus bx plus c is now going to be equals to 0. Now this is the interesting part because from here onwards, it contributes towards the discriminant, because now my intention would be to find out what is x. What is my x value so that my y is 0, right? Now here I need to let you know that a, b, and c can be a positive number, can be a negative number, right? This plus sign is part of the equation. So a, b, c can be positive or negative. What I'm going to do, I want to single out, I want to make x to be the subject. So how am I going to make x to be the subject? I could done away with a, so I divide a both sides, so I will get x squared plus b over a x plus c over a equals to 0 divided by a, 0, right? How about now? Next thing I'm going to do, I will try to group them, right? I will able to isolate the number, put the other side, so that I will able to get x alone on the left hand side, meaning solving for x or make x to be the subject. So to do that, I'm going to, let's focus, this is 2, this is 1. Look at the power index with 1x. Whatever in front of my x1 and divide by 2, so it becomes b over 2a squared. If I add something to the equation, I must also subtract them so that it's balanced. Then I remain whatever I have, plus c over a, that equals 0. You compare with the previous equation, this term, and I subtract, okay? So what's the purpose of doing that? Because I want to make x to be my subject. If you still remember, a plus b squared, it's actually a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. If we were to expand an equation, I can actually group this to be x plus whatever number here, b over 2a squared. Try to expand this, you will get this result. This part to be my a, and I treat this to be my b. If I were to expand this, I will get this. A squared, x squared, plus 2ab, 2 times this is 2ab is b over a times x, plus b over 2a squared. It's the same thing, it's the same result. Because I've grouped x into 1 already, I bring this term over the other side because the main intention is to make x to be my subject. It's now equals to b squared over 4a squared subtract c over a. Now, the denominator is not the same, so I'm going to multiply 4a here and 4a here, so that I'll get 4a squared as my denominator. So they have the same denominator, and guess what? This term of x plus b over 2a squared is now equals to b squared minus 4ac over 4a squared. It's square here, so I'm going to square root both sides. Now, plus b over 2a is actually equals to, if you square root a number, you always get positive and negative. This is a square root result. So this is what happened when you square root both sides so that you're able to make x to be a subject. So now I can make x to be a subject now. It's now equals to positive, bring it over, minus both sides with b over 2a. So it's negative b over 2a plus or minus square root over 2a. Almost there. So my x is now the final result. Now this is the x value. When y is 0, this is how you can use this equation to find out your x value. Discriminant is here. Alright? Here, b squared minus 4ac will be the discriminant. Why is that so? Because when I square root a b squared minus 4ac, if this number it's more than 0, it's a positive number, therefore this whole expression, I will get 2 value of x. But when my b squared minus 4ac is equals to 0, meaning I square root 0. If I were to square root 0, then I get negative b over 2a, which is also your axis of symmetry, 1 point. Now, but when my b squared minus 4ac is less than 0, it's a negative number, you get no real solution. Not to say no solution, it's no real solution. You get imaginary number, so there's no real solution. What is the discriminant? Discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. So what is that? It determines whether my graph would have 1 root, 2 roots, or no root at all. Okay, so that's discriminant. This general equation is actually given in an exam, in the first page of your exam paper. But you must understand that discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. Why is it more than 0? Because square root of more than 0, you get 2 numbers because of plus and minus sign. This is the fundamental rule of surd. You square root of a number, you get 2 answers. Therefore, you get 2 x value, right? I hope it clarifies. First time watch the video, kindly subscribe to my channel. Appreciate a thumbs up. Till then, see you in my next video. Thank you and goodbye.